In the vibrant world of wrestling, the ability of those wrestlers perceived as limited in the ring is often underestimated. However, history has shown us that appearances can be deceiving, and that with the right mix of passion, storytelling, and chemistry between opponents, even wrestlers with a more modest repertoire can deliver very, very good matches. On this occasion, we will explore precisely those unexpectedly great matches where former WWE wrestlers with limited technical skills exceeded our expectations against all the odds. In fact, some of these matches were so good that they are still remembered by fans today fondly. Welcome to Honor Wrestling Club, and in today's video we'll be counting down the 10 limited in-ring workers who actually had a really, really good match. Welcome to the club. Now, in at number 10, we have the great Khali, who was one of the worst wrestlers in WWE history, as he could barely walk, never mind wrestle. However, he would have a really good match against John Cena at One Night Stand 2007. The great Khali is considered one of the worst wrestlers in WWE history, as his in-ring skills were terrible. He couldn't cut a promo to save his life, and his charisma was non-existent. Still, the great Khali did manage to impress the fans on one occasion. At One Night Stand 2007, the great Khali challenged WWE Champion John Cena to a Falls Count Anywhere match. It was an interesting affair, which featured some brutal spots, and despite the loss, the great Khali looked really good. In at number 9, we have the Ultimate Warrior, who was a poor in-ring worker, however he did have a brilliant match against Randy Savage. The Ultimate Warrior was one of the most iconic wrestlers of the Golden Era, but his success was due to his looks and his charisma, never to his in-ring skills. The Ultimate Warrior was a lousy in-ring performer with a limited moveset and little sense of in-ring psychology. Still, he was part of an all-time classic at WrestleMania 7. The Ultimate Warrior would defeat Randy Savage in a career-ending match, which was very exciting and dramatic with great storytelling and good in-ring action. In at number 8, we have Hulk Hogan, who was never a particularly great in-ring wrestler. However, he did have an awesome match against Stan Hansen at Wrestling Summit. Hulk Hogan is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. His larger-than-life persona and off-the-charts charisma changed the game forever. However, Hogan is now considered as a lackluster performer in the ring, as his matches were very slow and monotonous, and his arsenal of moves was very, very basic. However, in 1990, Hulk Hogan stepped into the ring to face, and he rose to the occasion. It was a hard-hitting match with a lot of intensity from start to finish. Both wrestlers ended up bleeding after a titanic battle. In number 7, we have Britt Baker, who is a limited performer. However, she did have a fantastic match against Thunder Rosa on AEW Dynamite. Britt Baker is a benchmark in the AEW women's division. Her promos and character work made her feel like a top female wrestler. However, her in-ring skills have always left a lot to be desired, although that doesn't mean she's never had a good match. On Dynamite's St. Patrick's Day Slam in 2021, Baker and Thunder Rosa collided in an incredible lights-out match, which remains one of the best women's matches in AEW history. In number 6, we have Nia Jax, who used to be a terrible in-ring performer. However, she has improved quite a lot, and she's had a brilliant match against Becky Lynch. Nia Jax used to be considered one of the worst female wrestlers in WWE history, as she was not only very boring, but she was also a dangerous worker. However, in her second WWE run, she has improved a lot, and even had an amazing match against Becky Lynch. We are talking about the Last Woman Standing match that took place on the March 18th, 2024 episode of Monday Night Raw. Lynch would emerge victorious following a brutal battle. At number 5, we have Goldberg, who was always a limited in-ring worker. However, he did have a fantastic match against Diamond Dallas Page. The vast majority of Goldberg's matches lasted less than 5 minutes, for one reason. He was not a good wrestler. The more he wrestled, the more he was exposed, and that's why his matches were often short, and he squashed his opponents quickly. However, occasionally Goldberg did have 10-minute matches, and most of the time the result was terrible, except for his match against Diamond Dallas Page at Halloween Havoc 1998. In number 4, we have Kevin Nash, who was an average wrestler. However, he did have a fantastic match against Shawn Michaels at In Your House 7. Maybe it shouldn't count that a wrestler had a great match against Shawn Michaels, since obviously it was the Heartbreak Kid who made the match great. But on this occasion, we must also give credit to Kevin Nash, or rather, Diesel. Now, in Your House 7, Good Friends, Better Enemies, Diesel tried his best to defeat WWE Champion Shawn Michaels, but in the end, his strength was not enough to defeat one of the best in-ring performers of all time. Despite the loss, Diesel had an incredible performance. In number 3, we have Braun Strowman, whose in-ring skills are average at best. However, he did have an excellent match against Gunther on SmackDown. Braun Strowman is almost literally a monster among men. He stands 6'8" and weighs 341 pounds, making him an unstoppable force. In fact, he's also one of the strongest wrestlers in WWE history. However, technically speaking, Strowman is not a good wrestler, and throughout his career, his great matches can be counted on the fingers of one hand. Perhaps the best singles match of his career was against Gunther on the January 13th, 2023 episode of Friday Night SmackDown. In that match, Strowman sold like never before and showed great offense and stamina. However, then again, like the Diesel entry, I can say a lot of that is down to Gunther being probably the best wrestler in the world. In number 2, we have Carmella, who was a mediocre in-ring worker. However, she did have a fantastic match against Sasha Banks at TLC 2020. In an era where women's wrestling has improved a lot and has become really entertaining, Carmella has fallen behind. Her in-ring skills simply aren't good enough. Still, you have to admit that Carmella did an excellent job in her match against SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks at Tables, Ladders and Chairs 2020. Carmella more than rose to the occasion and proved she was a really good challenger, even though she did end up losing. And in at number 1, we have Lex Luger's matches, which were usually boring. However, he did have a fantastic match against Ric Flair at Starrcade 1988. Early in his career, Lex Luger had an amazing match against Ric Flair. We are talking about a World Heavyweight title match in the main event of Starrcade 1988. Luger was not only strong, but he was also agile and even athletic, qualities he lost in the following years. The most impressive thing about Luger in this match was his selling, and obviously we have to give a lot of credit to Ric Flair for taking the match to another level. And there you have it, there's our list. So what did you think? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Which limited worker do you think has had the best match ever? For that worker. Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click the like button and the subscribe button if you're new here. Be sure to share this video with your friends and check out my other videos as well. Go on, you'll enjoy them. However, for now, that's all for this video, so I'd just like to thank you for watching and welcome to the club. See ya!